You are handed a map that leads nowhere, and you have been following it faithfully, wondering why you never arrive. The map said hustle. The map said grind. The map said outwork everyone in the room. That rest is for the weak. That if you want something badly enough, you force it into existence through sheer will. The map said that patience is for people who lack ambition. And so you followed it. You pushed, you grinded, you forced. And you are tired in a way that motivation speeches cannot touch. Here is what the map never showed you. The universe does not respond to force. It responds to alignment. It does not reward the loudest, the most frantic, or the most desperate. It quietly, consistently, and generously favors the patient. Welcome to mindfulness and to the ancient Buddhist wisdom. Stay with me, because understanding this one truth might be the turning point your life has been waiting for. 1. The myth of the grind. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that more effort always equals more results. That the person who sleeps less, pushes harder, sacrifices more, wins. The grind became a religion. Exhaustion became a badge, and if you weren't struggling, something must be wrong. But look honestly at your life. Has the pushing brought you peace? Has the relentless effort brought you closer to that quiet, satisfied feeling you're actually chasing beneath all the goals? Buddhism introduces a concept that cuts against everything modern culture teaches. It's called effortless action. Wu Wei in the Taoist tradition that deeply influenced Buddhist thought. It is not laziness. It is not giving up. It is the profound wisdom of acting in harmony with life rather than in opposition to it. Watch how a skilled craftsman works. There is no wasted motion, no frantic energy. Every movement is deliberate, calm, precisely enough. The work flows from a place of mastery and presence, not desperation. That is effortless living. Not the absence of action, but the purification of it. Action without the frantic static of fear, ego, and urgency clouding everything. The Buddhist teacher Zhuangzi described a cook who had learned to follow the natural lines of what he was working with. He never forced, he never struggled, he moved along the grain of things. And his blade never dulled, because he never fought what was already there. Your life has a natural grain. Your gifts, your timing, your path, they have a shape already present within them. Effortless living is not about removing action. It is about removing the war you wage against your own natural unfolding. The grind is not noble. It is a symptom of distrust, and healing begins the moment you recognize it for what it is. 2. What patience actually is. When most people hear the word patience, they imagine waiting, sitting still, tolerating delay with gritted teeth and white knuckles. But that is not patience. That is suppressed anxiety in a mask. True patience, in the Buddhist sense, is something completely different. The Pali word is khanti, often translated as patient endurance, but its deeper meaning is radical acceptance of the present moment without resistance. It is not passive. It is one of the most active, courageous states a human being can inhabit. Think about the bamboo. It grows underground for years, invisible, seemingly doing nothing. And then, when the conditions are right, it rises with extraordinary speed, not because it rushed, but because it never stopped building the foundation the world couldn't see. Your season of waiting is not a season of failure. It is your bamboo years. And the roots you are growing right now, in the quiet, in the uncertainty, in the space where nothing visible seems to be happening, those roots will determine everything about how high you eventually rise. Buddhism teaches that patience is not something you perform. It is something you practice until it becomes your natural response to life. Until the gap between an unwanted event and your inner peace grows so wide that almost nothing can collapse it. Here's what patience actually produces: clarity. Because when you stop frantically reacting, you start genuinely seeing. You see which doors are truly closed versus which ones simply need a gentler knock. You see which people are truly gone versus which relationships need space to breathe. Patience gives you back your sight, and a person who sees clearly acts precisely, and a person who acts precisely wastes nothing. That is not waiting. That is mastery quietly being built. 3. How resistance creates your reality. There is something happening inside you right now that you probably cannot feel directly, but its effects are everywhere in your life. It is the low hum of resistance, the part of you that is constantly pushing against what is, in favor of what you believe should be. Buddhism calls this tanha, craving and aversion, the twin engines of suffering. You crave what you don't have. You resist what you do. And in that endless internal argument with reality, your energy, your most precious resource, is completely consumed. Here is what resistance actually does. It narrows your perception. When you are tense and resistant, your mind becomes a tunnel. You cannot see solutions because you are too focused on the problem. You cannot recognize opportunities because your attention is locked on what is missing. You cannot receive love because you are armored against disappointment. Resistance doesn't protect you, it walls you in. And here is the part that Buddhist wisdom makes very clear. The universe, meaning the totality of circumstances, timing, people and conditions around you, does not bend to resistance. It simply flows around it, like water past a stone. The stone's presence in the stream doesn't stop the river. It just redirects it away from that stone. When you are in a state of constant resistance, life flows around you. Opportunities find people who are open. Synchronicities arrive for those who are receptive. Connection deepens with those who are present. Releasing resistance is not agreeing that everything is fine. It is choosing to stop spending your life force arguing with reality and redirecting that energy toward what you can genuinely influence. The moment resistance softens, even slightly, reality begins to look different. Not because anything changed out there, but because something changed in here. That change, quiet and invisible, is the most powerful shift available to you. 4. The universe's language is stillness. You have been trying to communicate with the universe through action, through noise, through constant doing, planning, arranging, and forcing. And you may have noticed the response has been inconsistent at best, absent at worst. This is because you are speaking the wrong language. Buddhism teaches that the deepest reality is not accessed through effort. It is accessed through stillness. The Sanskrit word samadhi, a state of profound meditative absorption, is often described as the point where the surface mind becomes quiet enough that the deeper current of life becomes perceptible, where you stop talking long enough to finally hear. Most people never arrive at this place, not because they are incapable, but because they have been taught that stillness is unproductive, that sitting quietly is wasted time, that if the mind is not generating, something has gone wrong. But stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is the frequency on which the universe broadcasts. Think about the surface of a lake in a storm, turbulent, chaotic, reflecting nothing clearly. Now imagine that same lake on a calm morning, still, clear, reflecting the sky, the trees, the world, perfectly. The lake did not change. The water did not change. Only the surface did. Your mind is that lake, and the life you are trying to build exists as clearly as those trees by the water. You simply cannot see it yet because the surface is too disturbed. Daily stillness practice, even 5 minutes, even imperfect, is not a spiritual luxury. It is the practical act of tuning to the frequency where guidance, clarity, and right timing actually exist. In that silence, the universe speaks. In that silence, you remember what you actually want, underneath the noise of what you've been told to want. And that remembering is where effortless living begins. 5. Signs the universe is already working for you. Here is something important that nobody tells you when you start this path. The universe is not waiting for you to be spiritually perfect before it begins responding. It is already responding, right now, in ways you may have completely overlooked because you were looking for something louder. Buddhist wisdom teaches about the concept of dependent origination, that everything arises in relationship to everything else. Nothing is isolated, nothing is accidental. Every condition in your life right now is connected to a web of causes and effects, most of which you cannot fully see from where you stand, which means that the door that closed last month was a condition. The relationship that ended was a condition. The unexpected pause in your plans was a condition. None of these were the universe abandoning you. All of them were the universe arranging something you don't have the vantage point to see yet. The signs that the universe is already working for you are often quiet ones. The conversation that happens to find you at exactly the right moment. The idea that rises during your morning stillness that you almost dismiss as random. The person who enters your life without explanation and changes your direction entirely. The problem that forces you off one road and onto the one that was always meant for you. Synchronicity is not magic. It is what becomes visible when you stop being too busy to notice. Start paying attention differently, not to what's missing, but to what keeps arriving, not to what's closing, but to what's gently, persistently opening, because the universe has been whispering in your direction for a long time. Effortless living begins the moment you finally get quiet enough to hear it. 6. The practice of letting things come to you. There is a difference between magnetic and desperate, between drawing and chasing, between being rooted and being frantic. And Buddhism draws this distinction with extraordinary precision. The concept of non-attachment, often misunderstood as not caring, actually means caring deeply without gripping tightly. It means holding your desires the way you hold a butterfly, gently enough that it can breathe, openly enough that it can land, without the crushing pressure of need. When you chase what you want from a place of lack and desperation, you broadcast an energy that repels the very thing you're reaching for, not mystically, practically. Desperate people make frantic decisions. They move too fast, speak too loudly, push too hard, and create exactly the resistance that blocks what they want. But when you become someone who is genuinely full of presence, full of purpose, full of trust in the unfolding, something shifts. You stop needing external things to complete you. And paradoxically, the moment you stop needing them so desperately, they begin arriving more naturally. This is the paradox at the heart of effortless living. The less you chase, the more you attract. Not because of magical thinking, but because of the very real energetic and behavioral shifts that happen when you move from fear into trust. Practically, this means tending your inner garden every day. Meditation, gratitude, creative work done for its own sake, service offered without expectation of return. These are not spiritual rituals. They are the daily acts of becoming someone whose presence naturally invites the good they seek. The universe favors those who are ready. And readiness is not about having everything figured out. It is about being genuinely open, genuinely present, genuinely still enough to receive what is already being sent. 7. When nothing seems to be happening. This is the part of the journey that breaks most people. Not the beginning when motivation is fresh and the teachings feel alive. Not the arrival when things finally shift, but the middle. The long, quiet, invisible middle, where you are doing the work, holding the trust, practicing the stillness, and nothing visible seems to be changing. You know this place. Perhaps you are in it right now, and this is exactly where Buddhism's deepest teaching on patience becomes not just philosophical, but essential for survival. The Buddha described the spiritual path as a gradual training, not a sudden download, not an overnight transformation, a gradual, deliberate, layered process in which every practice, every moment of genuine presence, every act of releasing resistance compounds invisibly, like interest accumulating in an account you cannot see the balance of. The problem is that we live in a world of instant visibility. Everything is measured, tracked, posted, and seen. And when your inner transformation cannot yet be photographed or proved, the mind begins to doubt, to wonder if it's working, to consider going back to the old ways, the grind, the force, the familiar desperation, because at least that feels like doing something. Do not go back. Here is what is actually happening in the invisible middle. The old patterns are dissolving, and dissolution is quiet. It doesn't look like growth. It looks like stillness. It sometimes looks like nothing. But beneath the surface, the entire structure of how you relate to life is being rebuilt from its foundation. The Buddhist concept of purification describes exactly this. Before new clarity can emerge, the residue of old conditioning must be released, and that release process is often imperceptible while it is happening. It is only visible in retrospect, when you look back 6 months later and realize you no longer react the way you used to. You no longer need what you used to need. You no longer fear what once consumed you. That is transformation. Quiet, unglamorous, and absolutely real. There is also something the universe seems to test in the middle place, not cruelly, but honestly. It asks, do you trust this only when it's working? Or do you trust it as a way of being, regardless of visible evidence? Because the person who can maintain genuine peace and genuine openness in the middle of the invisible middle, that person has genuinely changed. And changed people move through a different world than unchanged people. So if you are in the middle right now, here is what I want you to hear. The absence of visible results is not the absence of progress. The silence is not the absence of an answer. The stillness is not the absence of movement. Everything is moving, just beneath what the eyes can see. And when it surfaces, and it will surface, you will understand with profound clarity why it needed exactly this long. Stay. Keep practicing. The bamboo is still growing underground, and the day it breaks through the surface, nothing will be able to stop it. 8. The life that waits on the other side of force. Imagine waking up and not immediately feeling the weight of everything you need to control. Imagine moving through your day not as someone trying to survive it, but as someone genuinely curious about what it will bring. Imagine having a want, a real and genuine want, and holding it lightly, the way you'd hold a wish made at the edge of a fountain. With hope, with openness, without desperation. That is not a fantasy. That is the natural state of a person who has genuinely embraced effortless living. And it is available to you, not someday, but as a daily, growing, deepening practice beginning right now. Buddhism does not promise you a perfect life. It never has. What it offers is something far more valuable, a way of relating to your life that removes the constant friction between who you are and what is happening around you. A way of being present enough that even ordinary moments carry a quality of depth and richness that no external achievement can manufacture. On the other side of force, here is what people consistently find. Decisions become clearer, not because life becomes simpler, but because the noise of anxiety quiets enough that genuine intuition can finally be heard. The right doors become obvious. The wrong ones no longer need to be forced. Relationships change because you stop relating from a place of need and start relating from a place of genuine choice. And relationships built on genuine choice have a depth, a reciprocity, and a naturalness that relationships built on desperation never can. Your work, whatever work is yours to do in this world, begins to carry a quality of flow that is unmistakable. It is the difference between pushing a boulder uphill and water finding its level. One is exhausting and ultimately futile. The other is simply what water does when nothing is blocking it. And perhaps most importantly, you stop waiting for your life to begin. You recognize that it has been happening all along, right here, in the moments you are rushing through in search of something better. Effortless living is not a destination. It is a quality of attention, a quality of trust. A daily decision to be fully present with what is, while remaining genuinely open to what is becoming. The universe is not a vending machine you force results from by pressing the right buttons. It is a river you learn to read, to move with, to trust, even when the current takes you somewhere unexpected, especially then. Patient people are not people who have given up on what they want. They are people who have given up on the exhausting fiction that they must arrange every condition themselves. They plant, they tend, they trust, and they live fully, openly, gracefully, in every season, not only the harvest. You have spent long enough forcing. You have spent long enough gripping. You have spent long enough treating life as a problem to be solved rather than a river to be traveled. It is time to soften. It is time to open. It is time to let the current that has always been moving in your favor carry you, not by doing nothing, but by doing the one thing that changes everything, trusting it. You came to this today for a reason. Something in you recognized that there is another way, quieter, deeper, and infinitely more sustainable than the one you've been living. That recognition is not small. It is the beginning. If this opens something in you, share it with someone still carrying a weight that was never theirs to carry alone. Subscribe for weekly wisdom that actually meets you where you are. And in the comments, tell me, what is one area of your life where you are ready to stop forcing and start flowing?